let me show you the income inequality so you get a sense of what we're talking about here when it comes to Occupy Wall Street and so many people in this country, the 99% of us that are frustrated. So last quarter, we're told that things went really well. The GDP grew by 2.5%. Everybody was happy. The stock market has started to go up. What they didn't tell you is that real disposable personal income fell by 1.7%. So the economy is, quote unquote, getting better, right? But the reality is we're not getting any better. So the money's going somewhere. I'm going to show you where it's going in a second. But it ain't going to us. Our income is going down. Stock market must be thrilled, but it's not going to us. In fact, you know, from Think Progress, there's this excellent chart that we got. It says if the U.S. land were divided like U.S. wealth, here's how much of it would be owned in terms of the land mass, right? 1% would own that much, which is a gigantic amount. 9% would own the rest, and then you see, hey, at least we get Florida and Texas. The 90%, the rest of us, right? But as you look at that, it gives you at least some visual sense of how much of the wealth the top 1% and the top 10% have. It is gigantic. So when you look at how things have gone over the last 30 years, and this is what we've been talking about all the time on the show, because this goes to show you how they whittled away at us, right? And how they redistributed the money to the top. Well, a new study out that shows from the House Budget Committee, it's from the Half and 10 campaign's new report, Restoring Shared Prosperity. From 1973 to 2009, a typical worker had his wages go up by $1.23 per hour, okay? Over 36 years. That is an average of 8.4%. So over 36 years, your hourly wage goes up a little over $1, 8%. Now, yesterday we showed you a separate report. That's a slightly different time range, but about the same ballpark, 79 to 2007. For the top 1%, how much did their income go up? 275%. So your income went up by about $1 an hour. Their income went up 275%. You think that was just a coincidence? You think that that's normal? That doesn't happen in every 30-year time period. You should see from, 1950 to 1980. It's not the case at all. In fact, the bottom 20% had their share of income actually go up in that time period. To us now, it seems like how could that have possibly happened? Well, because we had a fairer tax code. And it was better distributed. Right now, the tax code has the richest people, the millionaires, paying less than we do. How does that make any sense? The richest hedge fund and private equity guys in the country, the guys on Wall Street, are paying 15% on capital gains, dividends, and earned interest, while you're paying a much higher rate. So they're taking from the middle class and giving to the rich, and then it's not surprising that you wind up getting an 8% increase over 36 years, and they wind up getting a 275% increase in less than 30 years. Now, when you ask the rich, by the way, and here's something that's interesting. Do you agree with Warren Buffett that your taxes should be raised if you're above $1 million? And these are all people who have income above $1 million. You'd think, well, they're probably going to say no, right? I mean, it's their income. Wrong again, Bob. They say yes. 68% of millionaires saying, yeah, you should raise our taxes. When they ask them why, they have a number of reasons. These are just quotes from some of the people that they polled. And this is the Spectrum Group that did this poll. And they're like, honestly, we have the money. One guy says, I don't really know what else to spend it on. I think that if you took more from me on taxes, I wouldn't decrease my spending at all. It's just you'd be taking a little bit more from my savings. But he's like, another guy says, hey, you know what? Look, obviously for my own self-interest, I don't want to be taxed more. But on the other hand, I really think the country needs it. So I think the best thing to do is to increase my taxes so that the federal government and the country could be in better shape so that it works for all of us. So who's stopping it, right? Who are the guys who are saying, hey, you know what? I don't care what a majority of the millionaires think. I don't care what a majority of the country thinks. And by the way, over 80% of the country says we should tax millionaires more, right? When now they're getting taxed less than us. It's insanity. Anyway, so so who's stopping all of this? Over 80% of the country, over 68% of millionaires? Well, it's the few, that 32% of millionaires and billionaires who say, oh no, I love my money. And I'm so greedy that I'm going to take some of my money and I'm going to spend it on politicians. Because that's 68% who are willing to get taxed more. They don't go and contribute to a senator saying, hey, please, can you tax me more? They just say, hey, if you do it, I get it. And in fact, I'm in favor of it, right? But they don't actively go and do legalized bribery of our politicians. But the super greedy at the top, they go, well, like the Koch brothers, they've got $44 billion, but it's not enough for them. So they go buy every politician they can see. On the Energy Committee, because it affects them the most because they're in the oil business, they bought 27 of the 31 people in that committee in the House. You think the guys who want higher taxes going and paying the guys on the committee, hey, please raise my taxes? No. The problem isn't even the greed of those few millionaires and billionaires we're talking about. The problem is that the system allows them to do legalized bribery. I mean, look, I'm not just saying this because we started this movement and this PAC, but it's true. The reason we started the PAC was because we see news like this every single day. Look, Wolfpack is saying we've got to stop this at the source. If you allow politicians to take money and unlimited money from corporations and from rich donors, you're never going to be able to stop this. A couple of guys like the Koch brothers are going to come and for the next election, they're raising over $200 million. Karl Rove's group is raising $240 million. All they got to do is grab 10, 20, 100 of the richest and greediest guys in the country, and then the rest of us don't matter at all. We don't have a democracy. Those guys can go and they give a tremendous amount of money to Mitt Romney, to Rick Perry, and to Barack Obama, and then they say, you will do our bidding. They don't give a damn about us and our priorities.